What's up, Samurai Assassins? Fat Samurai Guy here, and welcome to another episode of The Movie Dojo, where we discuss martial arts cinema and action films. Today in the dojo, I'm going to review Special ID. Here's a quick plot synopsis. A cop goes undercover in a ruthless underworld organization to stop a gang leader, only to put himself in great danger after being exposed by his former protege and best friend. Now I'm going to give you the good, I'm going to give you the bad, I'm going to give you the badass. First up, the good. This film stars the legendary Donnie Yen, Colin Chow, and Andy On. Always been a big fan of Colin Chow's work. He's definitely one of those old school kung fu movie veterans that's just straight up badass. But I'm not necessarily on the Andy On bandwagon. He's starting to grow on me. I'm not really like a huge fan of this guy yet, but he's starting to grow on me. Ever since the vastly superior Killzone, aka SPL, came out back in the day, Donnie Yen has not been afraid to jump back in the police action thriller genre with films like Flashpoint, Special ID, and Kung Fu Killer. Another thing noteworthy to point out is the performances of Donnie Yen and Colin Chow. Colin playing a really good villain, basically being the puppet master, putting Donnie against Andy. And also Donnie Yen's performance is very well done and he doesn't phone it in. Andy's performance is fine. It's fine. Sometimes when I watch his work, it kind of seems like he's trying a little bit too hard, but he's fine. And now for the bad. It seems like the idea of the movie was a lot more interesting than the execution. There are definitely some tense moments between Donnie Yen and Colin Chow. That's good stuff. Overall, with the editing and the pacing, it kind of felt like this film was kind of quickly slapped together. And there really is no character development, not even with Donnie Yen's character. And really the only reason you want to root for Donnie Yen isn't necessarily his character. It's because you want to root for Donnie Yen because he's the good guy, and that's about it. You don't really care about anybody else in the film. Which brings me to this character. Imagine taking the girl from Transformers 4, putting her in a police uniform, and having her being in charge of this important unit to take down the bad guys. Yeah, pretty bad. Not once was I convinced by this girl's acting performance. I mean, it's very generically bland. I mean, is there some emotion in there? Are you a robot? Even when she tried to get angry, I wasn't convinced. Like, oh, you're so cute, trying to get angry. Oh, you're so cute. And watch every scene that Donnie Yen is with her alone. Donnie Yen is trying. Just watch his acting. He's really trying hard to make those scenes work, man. And definitely, physically, she was not intimidating or imposing at all. I just didn't buy it. I did not buy her being a badass once in this entire film. When you look like this dainty little tiny thing, like barely can run, no, this is not going to work. And worst of all, I didn't even like her character. Forget about the actress. I didn't even really like her character. You mean to tell me that this marksman that's in charge of this whole police unit to take down the main bad guys and work with Donnie Yen's character never killed anyone before? Are you serious? How? How did someone be put in charge of this whole unit and never once shot anyone? It's like, really? And then when she finally shoots someone, we have this big dramatic moment where she's sitting on the building and she's crying. It's the first time I ever killed anyone before. And I'm just like, oh my God. But it's okay, because Donnie Yen is there to console her by giving her her Hello Kitty mug. The badass. She's a badass now. She is. All badasses drink from Hello Kitty mugs. And this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but what they did with Colin Chow's character was weak. That was weak sauce movie. You can't have a fucking badass gangster villain like Colin Chow's character, and that's how his character wraps up, really? And of those of you that are looking for a lot of fight sequences, there's about 3 major fight scenes in the film. And one of the fights actually started off really well, and then it kind of ended with a whimper. Just visualize this. It's at night. It's raining. Donnie Yen is in the middle of the street, surrounded by all these thugs with weapons. He points to all of them. He's like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm about to fuck all you up. He's like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna go in this department store over here. I'm gonna grab these fucking bolt cutters. I'm gonna fuck all you guys up. And it's about to go down. Nope. Generic Bland shows up and stops the fight, and it doesn't even happen. Thanks, movie. And Hong Kong filmmakers, stop making Donnie Yen look like a fucking badass by giving him tattoos and mediocre movies. And now for the badass. So even though there's only 3 main fights in the film, they're still worth watching because Donnie Yen's at the helm. You got an opening fight sequence between Donnie Yen and Ken Lo, It's actually pretty decent with some unexpected comedy thrown in. And then we have definitely one of the best fights with Donnie Yen and Andy On's thugs. Check this out. Now that was a little taste, but definitely this is my favorite part of the movie right here. He's such a fucking badass, man. Let's see that one more time. And then we have our main finale fight at the end of the film. But as good as that fight was, it didn't even match up to Donnie Yen versus Colin Chow in Flashpoint. So overall, even though the film's average, there's still entertainment to be had. I recommend catching it for free on Netflix or renting it, but a purchase is kind of stretching it. But in my opinion, you're better off skipping to the very end of Flashpoint or watching Kung Fu Killer or going back to the amazing Killzone. So I give Special ID 2.9 out of 5 ninja stars. Alright, that's it for today's episode of The Movie Dojo. Tune in next week for my review of Ninja Immovable Heart. And why do I have a feeling that this cover is better than the entire film? We'll find out. See you next time. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.